Okay, my name is Diana Jaramillo.
I'm Ernie Zamora.
I'm Antonio Zamora.
My name is Amy Serna Sanchez.
My name is Alfonso Serna Sanchez. The first question is, how do you feel in public?
How do you feel in public?
How do I feel in public? I mean, for the most part in public, I feel fine. But that probably also has to do with, I'm lighter skinned than the rest of my family.
I definitely, alone in public, realize other things. Sometimes there's people that stare at you, sometimes there's not.
For the most part, I feel pretty safe.
For the most part, I feel fine.
And for the most part, I feel pretty confident and safe in public.
Do you avoid doing?
Doing or saying certain things.
It's because of the current culture.
Do you avoid doing or saying certain things because of the current culture?
Well, I kind of try to avoid wearing hoodies around, even in public in this neighborhood, because I've been stopped for stuff like that before, or just I guess, try to wear clothes that would not make me look suspicious. There's certain clothes I only wear to certain areas because I can get flagged down for that for no reason.
I don't really avoid doing anything because I don't feel there's a need to. I don't know, there's not really anything I avoid doing because of my culture. I feel like it's important to me.
I do avoid saying certain thoughts when it comes to politics, just because that can affect me in a negative way if I'm in public. And people hear about it, it won't usually turn out well, especially being Latina and people say stuff about that.
I don't think I avoid doing certain things though for the most part. I definitely avoid going to areas by myself where I know I'll be kind of the minority in the situation. But other than that, no.
Sometimes I do. I feel like if you make a joke, obviously, it depends with who you're with. But if you're talking about something serious, you should always know who you're with.
Do you avoid going to certain areas or places?
Do you avoid going to certain areas or places?
Do you avoid going to certain areas or places? I feel like in different areas you're more aware, or you have to be more precautious.
Just there's certain blocks in my neighborhood where there's a whole people who just they're kind of racist, and they don't they'll just report me for looking suspicious or looking like a thug. So I try to avoid those areas as much as possible when I'm walking around the neighborhood, while I'll take a detour around the block when I'm picking up my siblings for school, just because there's one specific person there who's always looking down on me.
So I don't want to get in trouble. It's like how Ernie said, I avoid going around certain blocks.
And for the most part, I just go anywhere, but I just try to keep it to myself to not make a big old deal, and so people won't think double about it.
Yeah, by myself anyways. I wouldn't go by myself to an area where I'd feel like I'd be unsafe or something like that, so.
Do you feel different because of the current
culture or rhetoric
toward the Latino community?
Do you feel differently because of the current culture rhetoric toward the Latino community? I feel like I do, just because growing up, you see it. As a kid, you don't really see it, but as you grow older, you see that color is real, and that people are treated differently because of that. It's not always fair.
I feel like just for me, this has always been how just reality. It's always been the life that I've lived, and I've grown up to get used to it. So by this time, it's just a part of life, and it's not anything different that I feel.
I don't. I feel like it's been the same since I've been growing up. And that it's been a thing that's always happened, so it feels normal to me.
I mean, lately, yeah, I feel kind of different about it because of everything that's been going on with the immigrant children in cages and just things like that. That kind of makes me really sad, and it's just really sad to see them, that they get that just because they were coming to look for freedom here, and they didn't get that. And they're just innocent little children who don't deserve that. It also makes me feel blessed because I have the opportunity to actually not be sleeping in a cage and not have to sleep on the floor, and I have the certain hygiene that they don't.
I definitely feel different because I didn't feel I felt safe before, but now I kind of feel a little more discrimination towards me, which is kind of it sucks, but it's always been that way for the most part, especially since I'm a female, so. But now it's just kind of a little worse, especially since the whole thing with the Latino community is going on right now, in politics and stuff, regarding immigration.
Has there ever been an instance?
Where you felt someone has looked at you differently.
Has there been an instance where you felt someone has looked at you differently? Yeah, well, there was one time where I have a free period, so school was still going on, but I was around the neighborhood, and I walked my friend to his car, and then I was walking back to school so I could get my stuff, and the cops stopped me because there have been reports of cars in the neighborhood getting broken into. And they said that they wanted to check on me, and they made me stop. They scanned my ID and everything because they thought that it was me, even though they had no probable cause of thinking that. And it was in the middle of a school day, and all I did was walk my friend to his car and try to go back to school.
Has there been an instance where you felt someone has looked at you differently? Whenever I go into like 7-Elevens or like a store that's like a convenience store, I always feel like I'm being like watched rather than other people for like stealing, because I don't know, that's like a stereotype. So whenever I go, I try not to like take backpacks with me or like go where they can't see me.
At certain activities, since I'm usually the only Latina girl there, I just get stared at differently for the most part, and they treat me differently. They try to avoid me, but I'm just there doing my own thing. You know, I try to be nice. There's no need to be rude to the other people.
Definitely. My stepdad is white and he's a male, so whenever I go out with him or my mom and my sister, we get a lot of stares, and a lot of people will like ask him direct questions regarding like our entire family, but they won't ever talk to my mom or my sister and I.
Yes, and it depends where you're at or who you're with sometimes.
Has your life changed because of the current culture? Like I said, I don't really think so. It's just been how it's been for me for my entire life. Like I said, I don't really think so. It's just been how it's been for me for my entire life.
Not really. It's been the same for me since I've been growing up. It's always been the same.
Not really. My life hasn't really changed because of that, but I know other people's has, like people that I know, just because they don't want to be judged anymore, and they're kind of embarrassed to say they're Latino, or they're scared to say something because they feel like they will be judged, or that somebody will tell them something or do something to them just because of that.
Yeah, it has, in the sense that I've become a lot more aware of what is going around, like what's going on in the world, and how I need to like protect myself and be more outspoken about different actions that are going on.
It definitely affects the way I see the world. I'm more open about it, and I can see that this could happen to me any day or to anyone else.
Do you talk to your family about any of this, and how?
Do you talk to your family about any of this, and how?
Do you talk to your family about any of this, and how?
Not really. Sometimes just my mom will, whenever I go out, my mom's like, you need to be careful. Like if this happens, then like go hide, call the cops, call me. But I don't, other than that, we don't really have any serious conversations about any stuff like this.
When I go places, my mom says be careful, or like when I'm out with friends.
For the most part, my family just goes over the basic. They just tell us to stay safe, you know, to try to be nice to people even if they're mean to you. There's nothing wrong with being nice to them. They just say to stay safe, and if you see somebody who needs help, go ahead and help them, because we have the power of our voice, and we're citizens here, so we don't have to be afraid, and we should try to help out the people who need the help.
Regarding my safety and stuff, normally we don't talk about that, so maybe I should start doing that.
I do only on some topics. If I see like bigger events or stuff like that, like with what recently happened, we definitely talk about it. And I'm always told be safe, watch who you're with, look around, find an exit, just in case.